Greetings. Hello. This is the Konotori Racing YouTube channel. My name is Damien, and this is Pops and Bangs weekly TV series episode 1 titled Road Rage. And today I'm gonna talk about my stories about road rage, a story that happened today even, so stay tuned. Let the fun begin, right? So I was driving very early in the morning, 7:30. It's the first day after the holidays, and it's just me minding my own business, chilling in the car, driving to work. Very calm. I'm usually not that calm, but you know, the holidays did me right. So I'm on this traffic stop, right? And I'm in traffic, right? And there is this guy who switches lanes right after the traffic lights, which is right before you enter your lane, right? He's switching lanes right into me, and I honk at him because that's what I do. And you know what happens? This guy just levels his car with mine and flips me off. He starts shouting, "Oh man, I'm gonna beat you up." I can read his lips, and he's not talking in Bulgarian, he's talking in English. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then I saw that his license plate is from Romania. I'm like, okay, this is a foreigner. He obviously doesn't know how things work here, because he started pointing at the sidewalk, and he's like, "Oh, pull up, because I'm gonna beat you up right there." And I'm like, you think that I'm gonna slow down my car, stop it, go out so you could beat me up? Well, I don't see that happening, so I just don't stop the car. But at the next traffic light, he continues like to show me his fist that would allegedly go under my chin. I don't know. And I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, because you can never trust a Bulgarian on the road. Like, man, I know people who hold guns in their cars. Like, this is almost like the US. I myself have 2 knives in my car. I knew a guy from high school that started carrying a hammer, like an industrial hammer, which you would use to hammer nails with it. He carried that around. I mean, he kept it in his car. Eventually he started carrying it around school as well, which I thought it was weird, but nevertheless, bro, I even there was this guy from high school that carried a police, how was this called? A police, it's not a stick, it's a baton. Yeah, it's expandable, and it's metal. You can break somebody's head with it. You can literally kill a person with it. And this guy from Romania just didn't know that. I think he didn't know that Bulgarian drivers can carry weapons with them. He's like Vin Diesel. Like, do you remember that Fast and Furious scene in which Vin Diesel pulls up with like a hammer or a French key? I don't know. And Jason Statham is holding a gun, and he's like, "Bro, did you think that this is gonna be a street fight?" It felt exactly like this, to be honest. I don't know. And yeah, I didn't stop because let's say I was late for work and I didn't have the time. But actually, I would never stop because I've never been in a fight, and also I don't want to fight with anybody. It's just the common thing to do. You honk at somebody if they're doing the wrong thing. You know, my mom did the same thing a couple of years ago. She was driving with a family friend and my dad in the car. And what happens is, at a traffic stop, there is this guy who's switching lanes again in the wrong way. So this family friend of ours just flips him off. At the next traffic light, this guy, I think he was driving a Mazda or whatever, I don't know, comes out of his car. My dad and our family friend go out the car as well. And this guy pulls up with a gun. You know, at this point, I remember from the story that my mom told me that our family friend had a couple of drinks before they went into the car. From what I know, he started acting all tough and was like, hey, what, you gonna shoot us? Come on, bitch. He didn't shoot, he used the back of the gun so he would hit our family friend right into the forehead. And a couple of weeks later I saw him and he had like a big wound over here, not healed and whatnot. And then a police car showed up out of nowhere. Luckily it was right around the corner, so the policeman actually for once did their job and saw what's going on, and they arrested this guy. I don't think he got put away because he obviously had some money. He pulled some strings. I think my dad and my mom spent like 3 hours in the police station just giving a statement, right? Yeah, they just spent like a lot of hours giving statements and whatnot, and then nothing happened. And that's how things are done here in the Eastern Europe. Yeah, right. Yeah. So people tend to honk a lot here in Bulgaria, and we just don't come out of the car, start beating each other because we know that this other guy might be carrying a gun. You don't know, man. Maybe 2 months ago somebody died because they two people went out of their cars and started fighting, but they didn't the guy who died didn't die because of the fight itself. Like they weren't bruised badly or hit badly. No, this guy died from a heart attack because he got, you know, a lot of stress from the fight. And honestly, I would get that because nobody except probably the mafia guys, they are the ones who would be fighting on the street. But everybody else, like, you should see the moms here. Like the football moms, they're the craziest. If you do something wrong, even if you're not doing something wrong and they're thinking that you're doing something wrong on the road, oh man, they have the biggest balls ever. Like they look like they're about to come out of the car and beat you up. They're not going to do it, but yeah, they're super angry. I don't know. So regarding to that story about the guys honking, I am honking at a lot of people, and sometimes I'm in the wrong, people honk at me. Sometimes I drive like an asshole, and I admit that happens. You should ask my friends. Yeah, I don't know why, but SUV guys hate me. Like the people who drive SUVs, I think if I honk at them, they hate me a lot more than regular people because I drive a small car. I drive a Volkswagen Polo. It's very funny. I think SUV guys get a bit worried about their masculinity when a smaller car is honking at them. I don't know because I have been in a lot of verbal fights with SUV guys. There was this one time in which, again, the same thing. One of the most common problems is that people are switching lanes without looking in their mirrors, and they're bumping into other cars. And then again, the same thing happens to me. I flip this guy off, I honk at him, I say, fuck your mom, fuck your sister, fuck your father, whatever. Yeah. At the next traffic light, this guy is like, oh, I'm gonna go out of the car, beat you up. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you honking at me? He wasn't driving even a Maybach. I don't know. It was a very expensive SUV. I don't know. Didn't you see that I had the right? And he's like, no. And I'm like trying to explain the situation. And I was like, think about it again. And you might find yourself surprised that you might be wrong, right? And that's all happening while we're at the next traffic stop. And he's like, oh, at the end, he was like, oh man, I think actually you're right. I'm sorry, but why did you flip me off? And I'm like, man, I was about to crash my car into you. Like, I don't care that much about the car because it's an old car and you're gonna pay for it and I'm gonna get it fixed. But man, that's a nice car that you're having. You have a Maybach. Why do you drive it like an asshole? If I were to have a Maybach, I would probably just go out at 2 a.m. in the morning because there's no cars and there's no like chance of you getting hit. I don't know. Those guys daily drive cars for like $1 million, so I don't know what their deal is. I don't know. I would never have this amount of money anyway, so who cares? But yeah, I felt this as a personal win because a guy actually apologized, and that's a rare thing to happen. I swear, probably happens once in like 30 years. I'm only angry usually when it comes to like people who don't know how to drive, and sometimes I feel bad for screaming at the top of my lungs out of the window to some guy who's doing some shit. Maybe recently, I think I remember that I saw like a woman did this thing on me, like switching lanes without looking at her mirror. We almost crashed into each other. At the next traffic stop, I was the guy who was shouting at her. I rolled down my window and I was like, bitch, who gave you a driving license? Whatever. Like, and you can see that this woman just didn't want to get affected by all of it. She was just staring right in front of her, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. Again, driving my car to work. Probably she's driving me into work as well. Yeah. After all that, like, I was very angry because, you know, I almost crashed. I saw her being like a bit stressed, and I'm like, oh shit, I feel like an asshole for, you know. But seriously, who gives those people a driving license? They never look at their mirrors, man. I remember, oh man, I was once in a car with a friend of mine. He almost got us killed. And it's a funny story because we got stopped by some policemen because our lights weren't on during the day, and that's a compulsory here. Like, you have to have your lights on even during the day, and this happens in the city center. We got pulled over, and they write him like a how is it called, like a ticket. Yes, they write him a ticket for not having his lights off. We're done with it, right? And we want to get back into our lane, right, from the stop. What happens is this guy just didn't look at his mirrors, man, and we almost crashed into another car. Like, it was this close, and I was like, man, if we don't get stopped again, that would be super lucky. Fortunately for us, the policemen are rarely looking into what's happening on the road because they're busy watching TikToks on their phone. I don't even know, man. Like, shit's crazy nowadays, right? I rarely get very, very angry, so I would never go out of my car and start fighting somebody. That's just not me. But recently, I crashed with a friend of mine in the car. This guy out of nowhere shows up on the street, and I couldn't stop because it was rainy. And then I go into a fence because I didn't want to crash into him. Luckily, some of the people in Bulgaria just don't have insurance. I don't know why. They drive without insurance. Like, they could just pay off a cop. I don't know. If you drive just in the city, I think it's possible to pay your way off if you get stopped, which happens rarely. Especially if you're just doing your daily commute during those hours, people just don't get stopped, right? This guy didn't have insurance. I had my bumper just scratched a bit, and I was like, oh man, this is a way. This is a time to exploit a situation. So I told him, man, give me 100 euros, or I don't know what the sum was. Give me 100 euros so I can fix my bumper. He's like, man, I'm not giving you that much. And I'm like, okay, should I call the cops and tell them that you don't have insurance? Or are you gonna give me those 100 euros? And he was like, fine. So, yeah, I didn't do anything to my bumper. I don't think I even fixed it. Like, it was a done deal. Like, I just got some money out of crashing into a fence. Nothing happened with the car. Also, it's a Volkswagen Polo, so can't break, you know? Cars of steel, man. it is actually of steel, which is the funny part. You can all laugh at this joke right now, right? Yeah. So yeah, I thought I'd share those stories with you. I thought it was kind of funny. Maybe you should submit your stories about people who road rage. Yeah, and you can submit those on an email that we'll provide in the description. Also, don't forget to support us and buy our merch at autoneeds.eu/konotori. We appreciate every support. We do events from time to time, so don't forget to follow our Instagram page for some more info on that. And yeah, it was fun, guys. So peace out.